Check this out from the New York Post. Rep. Ilhan Omar's net worth skyrockets to as much as $30 million months after denying she was a millionaire. Well, go figure. So she did her financial filings in May of 2025, so just a couple of months ago. And this is what her financials indicate, that she has upwards of $30 million. Apparently, she invested $1,000 into some startup investment company or some shit. And she just dropped $1,000 into him last year. And apparently, like, it's given her like a 3,500% return or some insane bullshit. So anyway, Rep. Ilhan Omar reported a net worth of up to $30 million in her latest financial disclosure, a document filed just months after the Congresswoman dismissed claims she was a millionaire as ridiculous and categorically false. The disclosure filed in May shows the far-left Squad lawmaker and her husband, Tim Minette, is that her brother? I don't know, experienced a roughly 3,500% increase in net worth last year compared to 2023. All right, get out of here. So the surge in the couple's wealth was first reported. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, I don't know why it's doing that. All right, here we go. The surge in the couple's wealth was first reported by the Washington Free Beacon on Monday. The financial gains came from Minette's two businesses, a Santa Rosa, California-based winery. Okay, where did he get the money to buy a fucking winery? I don't think those are cheap in California. And a venture capital firm headquartered in Washington, D.C. Wow, go figure. I wonder what he does for a living. Is he a lobbyist? Has he lived in D.C. his entire life? Is he a foreigner? Like what the fuck's up with this dude? I don't even know. I don't even know her husband. Last I heard, she was married to her brother. So, I guess I don't know everything. Omar valued the winery's assets at between $1 and $5 million in her latest disclosure. By comparison, the winery ESTCRU LLC was only worth between $15,000 and $50,000 in Omar's previous financial disclosure. Now, how the fuck did it increase that much? Maybe the winery had no crop or no grapes, no vines or anything, which I find that kind of hard to believe. I doubt that you can grow an entire vineyard inside 1 year. So let's see. More dramatic was the explosion in growth experienced by Minette's venture capital firm, Rose Lake Capital LLC. Rose Lake Capital's assets were valued at between $5 and $25 million by the end of 2024. The company had less than $1 million in assets the previous, or less than 1,000. I misread that. The company had less than $1,000 in assets the previous year. So that's what I read earlier. Notably, income from the venture capital firm is listed as none in 2024, but between $15,000 and $50,000 the previous year. Very interesting. Rose Lake Capital claims to have $60 billion in assets under management. Who the hell is going to invest $60 billion in a company that just started within the last 2 years? That doesn't make any sense at all. According to the company's website, the company touts its deep global networks built from on-the-ground work in more than 80 countries, working across business, politics, banking, and diplomacy. Dude, this sounds like such horseshit. What would that be? A shell company or something? I don't know. Money laundering, maybe. Let's see. It offers clients expertise in several facets of business, including structuring legislation. That sounds like political favors. Sounds like quid pro quo to me. The Congresswoman cried disinformation in February when asked about online speculation that she was a secret millionaire. Quote, since getting elected, there has been a coordinated right-wing disinformation campaign claiming all sorts of wild things, including the ridiculous claim I am worth millions of dollars, which is categorically false, Omar told Business Insider. I am a working mom with student loan debt. Oh my God, these people are so fucking evil. Unlike some of my colleagues and similar to most Americans, I'm not a millionaire and I'm raising a family while maintaining a residence in both Minneapolis and DC. So she's going to say, well, I'm not a millionaire. My husband is, because that's what Nancy Pelosi says. I didn't make $400 million. No, that's my husband's thing. I don't know anything. I'm just a poor, lowly, ignorant little woman. I don't know what goes on with my husband's affairs. I'm not the millionaire. He's the millionaire. No, dude, y'all share shit. You're fucking married, dude. That's what marriage is. You and him are joined together as one. You're one flesh under God now, which means that all your financial bullshit is both of y'all's. It ain't just his, it's yours too. So maybe, I'll say if he gets criminally charged down the road, but it sounds to me it's probably going to be more likely when, not if, but let's say if he's criminally charged down the road for doing whatever the hell he's doing, embezzling or fraud or racketeering or whatever the fuck he might be engaged with, yeah, you're going to be in trouble as well because you are his wife and you're both going to be culpable. Not to say that what they're doing is illegal. I just find it kind of shocking that he found somebody or a rash of entities out there in 60 different countries who are willing to do $60 billion worth of business with this dude when he's only got his company in existence for 2 years. That's got to be a record, man. He's got to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for being able to manage that amount of money in that short of an amount of time. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just peculiar to me. That's all. So, which are among the most expensive housing markets in the country? Let's see. The disclosure does list as much as $100,000 in credit card and student loan debt owed by Omar. Yeah, I know, but that's just to keep up appearances. That's why. And yeah, I mean, with that amount of credit, well, I guess if you're paying it on time, I mean, nobody's going to come after you if you're making the minimum payments or whatever. But that's all it is. It's just keeping up on political appearances. That way she can posture and say, no, I'm just like you. I have $100,000 in credit card and student loan debt, so I'm just the same as you are. That's the fucking bullshit, retarded, brain dead game that they play. She also has between $1,000 and $15,000 in her Congressional Credit Union savings account and another $15,000 to $50,000 in a retirement fund from her time in the Minnesota State Legislature. Omar's office did not immediately respond to the post request for... Yeah, they're not going to, dude. They're not going to. No, the only thing they're going to say is, well, she told us she has $100,000 in credit card debt, so how could she be a millionaire? That doesn't make any sense now, does it? All right, so let's move on to Libs of TikTok. Ilhan Omar's net worth increased by 3,500% since 2023. That's not exactly true. It's her husband's company. Well, actually, like I said, what's his wealth is her wealth. They're married. And when they're married, they both share the wealth as far as the law is concerned. So even though the New York Post said it was his net worth that increased by $3,500 since 2023, it's technically hers too. So Libs of TikTok's not exactly wrong. I mean... It's just omitting certain details, but yeah, whatever. So her salary is only $174,000, but her net worth is $30 million. How? I don't know, but I'm assuming there's going to be some investigations into that. Like I said, I don't know who her husband is. Like, should we look that up while we're on the subject? Maybe I'll just look this up real quick. I'm just going to ask. I'm going to ask Grok. Actually, no. First, I'm going to ask Google. Let me do this first. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. And let me just open up a new tab down here. See, usually I'm prepared with this, but I forgot. All right, so let's do Google. And let's do... Uh-oh. That's not coming up right. Yeah, whatever. Google gets it. Let's take a look here. 2018, 20... Oh, here we go. Tim Minette. All right. I suppose New York Post did say that, didn't it? Tim Minette. So, meet her husband. South China Morning Post. Why the hell are they writing about that? That's kind of weird, but... Rep Ilhan Omar's husband accused of swindling investor. Really? Man, this is a whole nother can of worms to get into. Accused of swindling investor in their California winery. His business partner, Will Haler, denied defrauding the investor, while another company they started owes $1.2 million to cannabis growers in South Dakota. That's hilarious. All right, so let's see. Yeah, a lot of this is just going to be within the last 24 hours. Disclose the 30 million. All right, so I'm going to try this. I'm trying to think, how should I word this? Tim. Is it 2 T's? Am I? Yeah. I'm just curious to see what he's got a background in. He's an American political consultant, fundraiser, and entrepreneur with over 15 years of experience in progressive campaigns. So that's how they met, of course. He graduated from the State University of New York at Albany. Dude, this has corruption written all the fuck over it, man. How does it not? And has worked as a foundation manager at the Alliance for Justice, an associate at the Ashmead Group, senior director at New Partners Consulting, and principal at E Street Group. where he's co-founded the firm and helped raise more than $100 million for candidates and organizations like Angelina Jolie's Global Action for Children. He later co-founded Rose Lake Capital, a venture capital firm, and has been involved in business ventures, including a California winery and cannabis investments. He's also married. The firm received significant payments from her campaign prior to their 2020 marriage. What? Wait a minute. His firm received significant payments from her campaign prior to their 2020 marriage. That doesn't sound legal. I don't know, man. It stinks. It doesn't. It sounds very shady. He's got experience in progressive campaigns, so he's like extremely politically on the left. He's probably a fucking communist, and God knows what the hell else. So, all right. So let's move on to the next thing. Here, let me get this minimized down there in case I might need it again. Ilhan Omar's net worth. 2020 negative 65,000, 2021 65,000, 22 115, the next year 205,000, 2024 $30 million. How do you like that? What a scam. Not a scam, dude. It screams of fraud, corruption, God knows what else. Rep Ilhan Omar from In Wokeness, 2019 net worth negative 45, 2025 30 million. Congressional salary 174K. Really makes you think. And this one from Laura Logan, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how puppets are made. And she's responding to Mike Benz. Ilhan Omar, on a $174,000 salary, increased her net worth $24 million in a single year because of a shady venture capital firm she invested in that had less than 1,000 in assets, ballooning up to $25 million in 1 year. And that is in response to John Solomon. Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure shows a 1 year 3,500% increase in net worth. So we're already aware of that. And moving on to Nancy Pelosi's stock tracker. Breaking: who said politicians don't get rich? Ilhan Omar just reported that her net worth is now up to $30 million. That's a 66,676% increase since she was first elected to Congress back in 2019. Honestly, I would argue that it must be infinite, right? Because didn't she have a negative net worth? Wasn't she worth like negative 60? What was it? I mean, In Wokeness says 45, but C3 said negative 65K. So, I mean, that would like technically be an infinite percentage increase because she had no money before. I don't know, whatever. Math ain't my strongest subject. So this is the financial disclosure report. Filer information: Ilhan Omar, member, Minnesota 5th District, annual report. Assets and unearned income, and Congressional Credit Union savings account, and then ESTCRU LLC. And Rose Lake Capital LLC. There's the $25 million. I know it's really small to read. I'm doing the best I can. Stupid X done. Let me zoom in. Let's see. Ameriprise Retirement, 15,000. Ameriprise Retirement IRA, 15,000. Minnesota State Retirement System, 50,000. Of course, those are tax deferred, the retirement accounts. Partnership income from Rose Lake Capital. So basically, it's our spouse. And so is the ESTCRU LLC, the spouse again, and so on. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, once they respond, whether if it's her or her handlers, once they respond to this big blow up, because this is going crazy viral right now. I mean, obviously it is, because this is sensational news for just some lowly Democrat politician who wasn't even born here, is born in fucking Somalia, and keeps insisting she's not a millionaire. All of a sudden we find out she's worth up to $30 million. So, I mean, when they come out, they're just going to stick to that. They're going to say, well, I didn't earn any of that. I'm just only making $175,000 a year, and it's my husband making all that money. Which, by the way, why do you have $100,000 in credit card and student loan debt when you're making almost $200,000 a year? And you know she ain't working that hard. Just, I don't know. Just curious.